Hello everyone. So in this video, I will be briefing about one of our experimental finding. We found that water scarcity in soil increases the risk of root rot causing fungal diseases in chickpea. And we published this finding in a scientific report with the title Impact of Drought Stress on Simultaneously Occurring Pathogen Infection in Field Grown Chickpea. So whosoever are interested, they can read this paper. So in agriculture field, we have various kinds of field. So in some of the fields are like well irrigated and they have good rainfall, and they are considered as well watered. But in some of the field, you don't get enough irrigation and you don't get enough rainfall, and those fields are basically drought stressed. So basically, we are dealing with the chickpea, as I already told in title. We'll talk about chickpea. So chickpea is basically grown under rain-fed condition. They are grown from October to March, and in that period of time, we don't receive much of the rainfall. And so whatever the remaining the water which was earlier from the like July rainfall or June rainfall, so they grow on that remaining water. But by the end of the growth period of chickpea, they feel terminal drought, like the water is gone and plants starts feeling stress. So this is one of the stress. Along with this, they also face various pathogens. So some of them are like there are various diseases. Some of them are like foliar diseases, leaf diseases, and many of them are root diseases. There are like Ascochyta blight, botrytis gray mold, viruses, and there are some root related pathogens: wilt, black root rot, dry root rot, etc. So basically, our question was, what happens to plant pathogen when soil moisture is low and plant is feeling drought? Does it increase the chance of disease occurrence? So to answer this question, we designed one field experiment. So the experiment has to be conducted in field, and we selected 8 treatments. So the treatment was like, because we want to study the effect of soil moisture, we wanted to vary the soil moisture in field. In 8 treatments, like 8 plots. In one of the plot, uh, we basically irrigated it sufficiently, like the amount of water needed for chickpea growth. So basically, 4 times a month. And in another treatment where we wanted to reduce the other 3 treatments, where we wanted to reduce the soil moisture level, we reduced the irrigation frequency also. Like when we wanted to impose mild drought stress, mild low soil moisture, so we irrigated it thrice a month. Then for more drought level, we irrigated it twice a month. And when we wanted to impose a severe drought stress, we irrigated only once a month, depending on the soil type. So then again, this is only 4 treatments. But then again, we divide this irrigation pattern was also carried out in a plot where we have not treated the plot with the fungicide. So in this plot, we treated the plot with fungicide, and in the other 4 treatment, we did not treat the plot with fungicide. So the plot where we did not treat the soil with the fungicide and plant with the fungicide. So the last 3 of the treatments, they were facing both the stresses, low soil moisture as well as pathogen. So we called these as combined stress. So with these 8 treatments, we conducted the field experiment. So we conducted field experiment at 2 locations. Location one, which was in New Delhi, India, and location two, which was in Chikevike, Karnataka, India. Then we conducted these experiments in 4 replicates. So why replicates are important? Because when you are doing experiment only once or in a single plot, so there are chances that the result you get is by chance, or the variation is not only caused by this but something else. So the number of replicates you the increase, the more you get reliable data. Since it's a field experiment, So the field soil varies with the width you go. Like after 1 meter, it can vary again. Again after 1 meter, it can vary. So to assess the effect of only soil moisture, low soil moisture, and not the environmental factors and the soil factors, so we need to randomize the treatment. Like if I'm placing control at one place, the next control should be at some other place. So for this, we adopted one strategy which is like being frequently adopted in agriculture sciences. It's called randomized complete block design. So this is how the plots in the location 2 looked like. So next, when we have already imposed the drought stress, the next was to measure whether the plots are actually feeling the drought stress and whether plants are actually feeling the drought stress. So for that, to check the soil moisture level in plots, we have a soil moisture meter. So we insert that soil moisture meter in soil and it gives readings. So we have taken the data every day, and then we found that the soil moisture decreases in the plot which is very less frequently irrigated. That is the drought stress and combined stress plots, compared to control or the pathogen stress plot where we have frequently irrigated like 4 times a month. So next was to assess whether plants are feeling drought or not. So there is a whenever plant feels drought, so their leaf temperature goes up because when you have a low soil moisture, the plant transpires less. So transpiration is like perspiration in human. If you have low transpiration, the leaf temperature will go up. So if the best, the one of the good way to assess if the plants are feeling drought stress or not is to check the leaf temperature. So we did that by using infrared thermometer. So more the soil water, less the heat temperature, and they look purple in infrared thermometer. But as the soil moisture decreases, the plant starts feeling drought stress and they are less purple. So and this was also like we could see the increase in the soil temperature in case of the drought stress and the combined stress. So after this, we wanted to like the next step was to assess what all pathogens like the plants are getting infected with, what all diseases. So basically, the diseases we encountered in our field experiment at both the places were dry root rot caused by Rhizoctonia bataticola, one of the root infecting fungus, and then black root rot, again another fungus called Fusarium solani. Fusarium wilt caused by fungus which also enters through root, Fusarium oxysporum. So the control plant, they look healthy, the root looks healthy, and when you plate the root on the plate, you don't get anything. But then when we collected the root samples from these infected plants, and when we placed them on potato dextrose agar medium, so we got the colony specific to those fungus. And so these were the pathogen, but basically and majorly we encountered or we saw two major pathogens, two major diseases in field. The one was black root rot caused by Fusarium solani, another was dry root rot caused by Rhizoctonia bataticola. And if you can see in control plots where we had it frequently irrigated, the roots are healthy, the plant growth is optimum, and the pods are also there. But as you see in case of drought, the roots are like the second they are like longer than control, but like less number of secondary roots. But the plots where they have got infection, the black root rot infection looks like this, and the dry root rot infection, plant the roots are really brittle, the whole plant is brittle. So this is how we saw it in our field. The next was to like analyze whether it was actually the low soil moisture is actually increasing the dry root rot or black root rot disease incidence. So actually, so we conducted this experiment for 4 years, from 2014 to 2018, and in each year we found that as we reduce the soil moisture level, the drought stress increases, and the pathogen in occurrence, the black root rot disease occurrence, the number of plants which were infected with black root rot were more. Similarly, the plants which were infected with dry root rot were more. So we concluded that low soil moisture increases dry root rot and black root rot disease occurrence in chickpea. And simultaneously, so it was also affecting the yield. So as we increase the drought stress and the pathogen attack were also there in both the treatments, drought and combined stress, the yield was highly reduced compared to control and the pathogen stress. And we also observed the decrease in leaf area. So then we concluded that combined stress is actually decreasing the yield and the plant growth. So next, so this we observed in field. So next was like to check how, like, what is happening in like to microscopically at the microscope level. So we conducted some pot experiments. So the treatments were like a control where the plants were grown in a pot which was like sufficiently given water. Then drought where the pots have not given water and they were allowed to like lose water so that plant can feel drought. Then but and in case of the another two treatments where the plants were the pots were given sufficient water, but we also inoculated the pots with dry root rot and black root rot fungi separately. And then in combined stress, we did not water them, and we also inoculated the plant pots with sclerotia of dry root rot disease, Rhizoctonia bataticola, and for black root rot, the fungi, hyphal mass of the uh, Fusarium solani. So, so this is how the plant looked. The chickpea plants, which were grown in control pots with the sufficient water, had good growth with better roots. The drought stress plant had like less number of branches, secondary branches. The pathogen infection, the plant had pathogen, the roots had black root rot pathogen infection. But in case of combined stress, where the water is also low, the soil moisture is less, we observed more of the black root rot disease in occurrence. Like the roots were very black and the pathogen were more. So this was also like we magnified the roots, and we when we saw the magnified roots, you can see the disease was there in pathogen and more in combined stress, and there was no disease in control and drought. So similarly for the dry root rot disease also, the pot with the Rhizoctonia bataticola, when they were with like sufficiently watered, we could see some of the roots, but the pots which were like received very less water or no water, or the plant faced drought stress, the disease incidence was more. And it was also you can see the in the root pictures in magnified pictures also, that the roots are more infected in case of combined stress than pathogen stress. So basically, we concluded that the Rhizoctonia bataticola and Fusarium solani infection increases under low soil moisture. So further, we dissected the roots, both the control and drought roots, where we had not given any infection. So when we looked it under microscope, we did not see any microsclerotia. But for the plants infected with Fusarium solani, the fungus which causes black root rot disease, we saw the hyphal mass, and the uh, plants, the root section of the plants which were grown under pathogen and combined stress with the dry root rot disease, Rhizoctonia bataticola, we saw less microsclerotia in pathogen and more microsclerotia in combined stress. So to conclude, we conclude that two root diseases of chickpea, namely dry root rot and black root rot occurrence, increases in the low soil moisture, drought stress. And second, it also affects the growth and yield and grain weight of the chickpea, both under drought stress and combined stress. And the information from this study can be used to control black root rot and dry root rot, this occurrence in farmers field. So our future perspective is to this type of systematic study can be used to understand role of soil, nutrient, and weather factors in root rot occurrence. And next, the type of study can be used to develop simulation models for disease prediction in farmers field.